I want to move forward and speaking a little bit about the renewal of the moon. As we know, it's very important for the Jews that Passover will always be celebrated in the time of the spring. It has to be comfortable weather. Why it's so important? Before we get into the details, I would like to give us an introduction about the difference between Judaism, Muslims, and Christians. The Christians, they measure the year only by the sun. It's the year of the sun. The Muslims go by the moon. The year of the moon is 354 days. It's 11 days shorter. The cycle of the moon, the year, is shorter than the sun. The Jews are going by the sun and the moon. The Muslims have no problem that the year is 11 days shorter than the rest of the world. That's why their holidays are moving. For instance, the fast of the Ramadan, which is 40 days, is moving every 3 years by a month, because there's 11-day shortage. So every 3 years, 33 days, the holiday, the fast of the Ramadan is moving. That means after 18 years, it moves from the sun, from the summer to the winter. And they can care less about it. Sometimes they fast in hot days, sometimes they fast in colder days. The Christians had to make an adjustment to the calendar. That's why every 4 years they celebrate an extra day in the year, which is February 29th. Every 4 years you have February 29th. The rest of the years you have only 28 days in February. And that's how they balance the gaps between the sun and the moon. The Jews supposedly supposed to have a problem. Why? If the Jews will go only by the sun or the moon, obviously we're going to have a problem with Passover traveling in the seasons. And this is what the Torah had to tell us. This is again from the Midrash, which is the oral Torah. At that time, God gave Moses the laws and the calculation of the renewal of the moon, and informed him how he's going to determine when it's going to be a leap year, and decide the length of the actual month. Which means, for those who know, every 19 years, the Jews have extra 7 months in the calendar. Every 2 to 3 years, we have an extra month to the year, which means this year was 13 months. Just when Passover is about to be too early and come closer to the winter time, we push an extra month and delay it by 30 days and push it back into the spring. How do we know to do it? Because God, when He gave the Torah to Moses, He told him about the secret of the calendar. Now, the interesting part, this was the introduction, that the oral Torah is telling us something which is really hard to believe. Before the calendar was written, we needed 2 witnesses to come and testify that right now they saw the renewal of the moon. The moon is renewing to a new month. The rabbis in the court were sitting and waiting until the witnesses would come. They had their calculation that today approximately, late in the afternoon, approximately, there has to be the renewal of the moon. They were waiting for the first witnesses to come. As they come, they announce now is the first day of the month, and they count in 10 days, for instance, to Yom Kippur, which is the 10th day of Tishrei, or 14 days in Nisan, which is Passover, according to what the Torah told us. One time, 200 witnesses came to the court. It was a cloudy day. They told the president of Israel, his name was Rabbi Gamliel, we just saw the renewal of the moon. He told them, I'm sorry, but all of you have to be wrong. Why? Because we have a minimal cycle that God told us in Mount Sinai, which was transferred from father to son, from rabbi to student, all these years. The renewal of the moon can never be less than 29 days and a half and 2/3 of the hour and 73 parts of the minute. When we calculate that, we get 29.530 590. The interesting part is that when we go and check what NASA, the American agency, had to tell us, I have in front of me a copy of the original results of the research, and their conclusion is that the renewal of the moon, the cycle is 29.530588. The Torah says 29.530590 to 10,000 of the second, which means if you take a second, divide it to 10,000 pieces, the difference between what NASA found with billions of dollars investment, thousands of employees, years of research, measuring all the angles, all the cycles of the moon-earth system, and come back with the final result, 29.530588. This is 6 digits after the decimal point. And the Torah, in generation that we did not even have a calculator, not to talk about mega computers, the Torah was precise, 6 different digits after the decimal point, which leaves us no doubt that a person will never be able to write such a number 3,318 years ago. It's impossible. Which person was able to measure the renewal of the moon and to write such statement? It will never be less than 29 days and a half and 2/3 of the hour and 73 parts of the minute. How would you know? That means if NASA would come back with a different number and they prove scientifically that it's completely a different number, there will be an error in the oral Torah and would give us a serious doubt. Is this divine or not? The answer is, of course. And the Germans are a little bit more precise. 1965 in Berlin, Earth-Moon system, they come with a number that is almost exactly like the Torah. 29.530589. Only 1/10,000 of a second difference between them and the Torah. And who was right? Allow me to be sure that the Torah was of course right. Someone actually told me in one of my lectures that he saw that they adjusted it to the exact number of the Torah. I'm still looking for the source, but it doesn't matter whether they did or not. It's not so important. What's important is that the indication, the importance is that the Torah wrote to us a number no human being was able to write 3,318 years ago. Absolutely not. He had no way to measure. There's no satellites, no telescope, none of the things that they use. And of course, there was no way to calculate it mathematically. 6 different digits after the decimal point.